So let's talk a little bit about cleaning microfiber. I'm in my laundry room and I have some new towels, some old towels, and different colored towels. And I wanted to just talk to you about some things that you might want to consider when you're washing your towels. First, you just use common sense with colors. If you have a new towel, it's a dark blue towel. Like let's say, for instance, I just washed all these creature edgeless towels. These are dark blue. I washed these by themselves. It was the first time I washed them. So when you get your microfiber from me and you open the box and you have all these different colors, I would strongly urge you to take and wash. The darker the color, the more you'll want to segregate it, at least in the beginning. And then once you've washed them 2 or 3 times, then I found that I've been able to just take all the darker colors and just put them all together. The reds, the oranges, the blues, all that stuff, just throw them in to one load and call it a day. So I always wash the towels when I first get them. So I just washed the Creature 7030s. I also washed my minks here. So the minks I cleaned as well. So these are both clean and dried and folded. And so I washed the minks by themselves. This is a grouping of 20 and then a grouping of 20 of the Creature edgeless. Both are edgeless towels. The other reason why I like to wash edgeless to start is they tend to, even though they're laser cut, they tend to kind of have a little bit of fraying or just a little bit of junk that falls off. And so I like the cleanliness of just getting them clean and not having to worry about them then linting or not even linting, but just dropping a little bit of the excess edges from the laser cutting. And so let's set these aside and we'll talk about, and we'll throw some towels in to wash. So I do, we'll talk about Micro Restore here in a second. I do dry my towels. And so I have some pluffles in here. These were brand new pluffles that I just got right out of the box. I washed them and I will dry them. And so let's throw them in the dryer and talk about how we would dry the towel. So we're going to go a little backwards here in our discussion. First thing, I always make sure that the area or the lint area is clean. I don't want cotton getting segregated. And so that's from the minks towels. So there was a little extra fluff that came off of those towels. Not a lot, but enough that I think it's worth washing when they're brand new. And so I did wash all the pluffles together by themselves. You could probably throw these in with white towels, but I just don't want I don't want to stain them. I like my towels to look crisp and clean. And so throw those in. No fabric softener. So never use fabric softener with any kind of microfiber. You don't want anything like that getting into the weave of your microfiber. So when I am drying, I'm going to do it on as delicate as possible. So let's power up the dryer. These are Speed Queen. I know they're hideous, old school, commercial duty washer and dryer, but I've had the really fancy ones and they never really work out very well. They don't do a good job cleaning. And so I'm going to use delicate cycle, so choose the most delicate option you have. This does sense dry, so it'll sense, and I always choose the dry option but in low heat. And so it sets to 35 minutes, but it will sense. I mean, I could just use one of the manual settings, but I like to allow it to sense, and then we'll turn it on in a second here, and it'll dry them right at I found that this dryer does a great job of drying it right to the point of dry, not overly dry, because I don't want to bake my towels if I can help it. You need to be careful. Microfiber tends to melt at 140 degrees, and so if you did this on a hotter setting, it will mess it up. So that's the drying. I'll turn that on in a second, and it'll fluff up the towels. Now, I have found that drying the towels does a better job at getting them clean, making sure that you get all the dust and dirt and sand and any particles that may not have come out in the wash. I feel like drying them will shake all that junk out. And so your wheel towels and things like that will come out fluffier and cleaner. I've been drying my towels for a long time. I used to hang them But then I'd have towels all over the place, all over the laundry room. I'd have them in the garage hanging from the shelves. And so Michelle was always yelling at me. So one day I said, let me just throw them in the dryer and just see what happens. And my towels came out much nicer, much cleaner, much fluffier. And so I would recommend drying them rather than hanging them. I think you'll thank me for that towels, as long as you don't overly dry them or dry them on super hot cycle, they'll tend to do a good job. So let's talk about washing, which I'm doing this backwards here. Again, I'm using my Speed Queen washer. And so let's talk about the settings here, and then we'll put some Micro Restore in there. So once again, just like with drying, I don't want to use really high heat. And I am going to throw some new towels and some old towels in here together. And so what I normally use is a heavy duty cycle, which adds a longer time or longer wash. I think it also agitates a little bit more aggressively. Again, your high efficiency washer, you just want to use whatever setting uses the most water possible, because when you want to get these things wet, you want to get them clean. And so again, I don't want to exceed 140 degrees. Now my water heater is set to 125, so I could probably wash on hot, but I always wash on cold. I found no need to wash using hot. It just protects my towels. They come out clean, so there really isn't any reason. Load size in this case, I think I'm going to do large, and then I'm going to do a heavy soil level. So I always choose the heaviest level, and then I'm going to do a second rinse just to get them really, really cleaned out. And so, it takes 44 minutes or so for this to do it. In comparison, your high efficiency front load, top load, I've thrown away a couple of those and gone back to these hideous looking old school washer and dryers. They'll take 2.5 hours to do this same cycle, and it still won't come out nearly as clean. And so that's the settings. So let's talk about how to load it. Not that it's rocket science, but all right. So I have my new Dry Me Crazies, which I'm going to wash. I folded them. I don't know why, because I always end up washing them. And then I have some towels that I had outside that were also dirty, that I'm gonna just throw in the same load that are light. And so if you buy a microfiber package from me, I use Micro Restore, and so you'll get a gallon of Micro Restore and a quart, which seems kind of weird. But trust me on this, you want the quart, because the quart does the measuring for you. And so my quart is what I squeeze to get my 30 mLs that I use to wash. So I'm gonna go up to 30. I usually go a little above 30. Squeeze a little extra in there, so I'm probably putting about 40 milliliters in the washer. I find that's good. That's all I use. No additives, no other washing agents, no other. You don't want to use anything with bleach. You don't want to use anything with any fabric softeners. It'll clog the pores of the microfiber. So just these. This is all that you need. If you buy my microfiber kit, it comes with a gallon and comes with a quart, and you can buy more as needed. But I've been using this stuff for, I don't know, several years. I used to use Dreft. This stuff works way better. You can put vinegar in the washer as well, maybe in the bleach area. I haven't found a need to do that at all. The only towels that I have that are kind of beat up are Mike Griot's garage, and some of this stuff will come out. I've wiped the tires directly with these. And so I'm going to put towels in. I always feel better about, like, if I have a new or a folded towel, to unfold them and put them in like this. So throw them in so they're not all bunched up, just to make sure that they get clean. Make sure I don't have like one spot that's all folded up and doesn't get unfolded. So I have 10 of these. I've transitioned to these slightly larger version from Adams. I don't use these a lot for drying anymore, so in my package I've included 4 of them. Now that I've been using Ammo Hydrate, I haven't found the need to use these towels as much, but it's still a great towel to have for drying. I prefer waffle weave for drying. Let's just throw these last couple of towels in here. See, here's a creature. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got a little bit of a funky colored tint to it. This is a gray one that I got as a sample. I washed it with I think a red towel, and it changed the color. So I think you want to segregate. And so my old Griot's yellows have been washed 100 times, so there's no fading or anything like that. So everything will stay nice and neat and clean. So I'll start both up, and then obviously transition the larger load to the dryer to get it dry to then go out and fold and store in the garage. So that's how to wash towels, or let me rephrase that. That's how I wash towels with my ugly looking old school Speed Queen washer and dryer. Again, if you're using high efficiency, same basic principle. It's just going to take you a freaking crap ton longer. They probably won't come out quite as clean. But use whatever setting uses the most water possible has been my recommendation. Wash on cold, and your towels will last a long time. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hope if you're looking for microfiber towels and you want to pull from some of my experience. I've owned lots and lots of towels. These are the towels that I'm using right now and offering as a package in my store. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more of this crazy stuff. Thanks. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.